Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Thursday, April 24, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, public sector workers ask for 8.5% salary increase. Keycocker villager dies in bee attack while working down south. And Nancy Marin finally gets green light to import ostriches. We take our first break and return with the news in detail. Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. On Tuesday, the Joint Union Negotiations Team, JUNT, which represents the three public sector workers' union, wrote the Prime Minister seeking a long overdue salary increase of 8.5% for public officers and teachers in the wake of the salary increase for CEOs to the tune of 15% retroactive to March 13. They write, quote, "It is deeply troubling to note that during this period of austerity and supposed fiscal prudence, the payroll of the government of Belize has expanded significantly, notably through increases at the executive level. The recent decision to reward chief executive officers, CEOs, with enhanced benefits despite the sacrifices made by frontline public officers represent a grave injustice and a blatant disregard for the principles of equity and shared sacrifice. These actions are perceived by our members as a betrayal of the trust and commitment they have shown to the government and people of Belize throughout one of the most difficult periods in our country's economic history." End quote. The JUNT points to the salary cuts and the rapid rise in the cost of living in the last 5 years as reasons for the increase, which they say can be implemented in a phased approach. Additionally, the JUNT is also calling for a similar adjustment for pensioners, ensuring they are not left behind given that they live off fixed incomes. In the letter, the unions also reiterated their concern about the lack of a meaningful response to their CBA framework submitted on November 7 last year. They have asked for a response by May 1st. 59-year-old Japi Neldo Perez died after being severely stung by bees while he and some 3 others were clearing a trail in the village of San Pedro, Colombia, in the Toledo district on the afternoon of Easter Monday. Perez was originally from Keycocker village, but he was working in the south. Others were also stung, but not as badly, and survived the attack. According to an eyewitness, Perez came upon the tree where the beehive was and unsuccessfully tried to run away. He leaves behind 3 children, ages 6, 3, and 1. Nancy Marin, the leader of the Belize People's Front and famed ostrich farmer, has gone through an almost 5-year struggle to be able to get permits to import ostriches into the country and to fully invest in the industry. Marin said she felt victimized during the process but is glad she kept fighting and hopes she can serve as an example to other entrepreneurs. She has now finally gotten the relevant import permits from the Forest Department and the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, BAHA.
From where I was standing in my shoes, it felt like victimization. Um, it, and victimization comes at a great cost, not just to the people that they're victimizing, but to the nation, because it holds back progress every single time. It doesn't matter who suffers it, it holds back progress, not just for the victim, for all of us. And the reason I say that is because the reasons were ridiculous up to the point of, it's been under this administration, it's been 4.5 years that I've been fighting. And in 2023, I was granted the permits. And then I made my deposits for the animals and lost those deposits because at the point when I was ready to import, they stopped it, saying that the cause was the bird flu in Mexico. Well, the Yucatan is free of bird flu. We all know that. The world knows that. And they stopped my license, didn't care that I lost my money. They stopped it at that point. I cooperated with them because I had no other choice. And then recently they had given me the permits, and then there were stipulations about not being able to ranch and not being able to breed the ostriches. And then there was a point when they lost all of my file, according to them. I am glad finally the Prime Minister intervened, and then whatever they did behind the scenes worked. and they finally gave me full permit. So I have full importation permit from forestry and from Baja. Now I do need to clear up as well that even though the hold back for over 4 years was my CITES permit, it turned out that in fact I didn't need CITES for ostriches.
Marin explained that being able to farm ostriches is what helped to save the species and that having the animals in Belize helps to educate the public on the birds and the fight to save them.
So we're here now, and I can import now with full permits from Baja and from forestry. Baja was always in support of it. I must commend Mr. O'Brien, who saw the vision and had actually he explained to me that he had actually proposed ostrich as an industry some time ago, and he was also turned down, and then they opted to go with sheep instead of ostriches back then. I think it's the right time. It's been going great at the farm, even before we got the permits. I love the fact that we can do educational tours at the farm where school children flock here. I have the opportunity to personally teach about the ostrich, and then they do the tour. They get to feed the ostrich, see an animal like that up close. And we must understand, and I keep telling the children, understand that ostriches were about to be extinct like the elephant bird. And it was because of agriculture, because of the foresight of the government of South Africa that asked the world to farm the ostrich. So farming actually saved that species.
Marin explained how having the permits will help her develop her farm and how she plans to get the industry export ready and to encourage other farmers to get in the industry.
The ostriches that we produced on the farm last year, we had to butcher because we didn't have new bloodlines. So now the exciting thing is that through thankfully a grant that we got from Beltrade, we were able to develop the incubation center. That is almost 100% completed now. We will be able to produce a lot more, but with the permits, we are able to bring in new bloodlines, which is what I was waiting for. So if I had gotten my permits 4 years ago, we would have had about maybe 250 ostriches already on the farm. So I'm looking forward to by next year producing at least about 50 to 70 chicks on the farm. Right now, we're bringing in 10 breeders that will be used strictly for breeding, not for meat, not for anything else, but just for breeding. This means that we can become export ready with the oils before the end of the year. Because whatever ostriches we have left here, we can continue to slaughter to get the meat and the oils. The idea, of course, like I've been saying on the media, the idea was always to get this industry export ready, to get other farmers to be able to invest and to raise their own ostrich farm. With this permit, we're allowed to breed, to have healthy bloodlines, and we will be allowed to sell the chicks to other farmers.
As we reported what the police have released by way of a police report for the Holy Thursday 2025 hijacking of a Tropic Air flight by American national Akiniela Taylor is an abridged version of what transpired during an hour and 40 minutes in the air, beginning at 8:18 a.m. in Ranchito, Corozal, and ending just after 10 a.m. at the Philip Golson International Airport. Pilot Howell Grange has now recounted what transpired during the horrifying ordeal and shared that it was a big gamble he took in tricking Taylor into believing that he was being taken to the U.S. as requested. Grange says Taylor had asked him to relay a code to the control tower indicating it was a hijack. According to Grange, while Taylor provided specific numbers, these were slightly off, but in his view, it indicated a level of premeditation and perhaps even research. Grange shared that not long after takeoff, Taylor stabbed Fitzgerald Brown, and when Jair Castaneda intervened, he too was stabbed. Taylor then ordered the injured men and the son of an employee who was sitting up front beside the pilot to the back of the plane. When it all started, Taylor had been sitting in the seats right after the pilot. After the stabbings, he moved up front and held the pilot at knife point. To make his plan work, Grange says, after a certain time in the air, he spoke to the control tower in Spanish to make Taylor believe they were in Mexican airspace, and then, sometime later, he did the same, asking for someone else who would speak with an American accent. The entire time, he was still in Belizean airspace, circling the Belize district. However, when they finally landed, it did not take long for Taylor to realize he was not in the U.S., and that is when he stabbed Grange up to 10 times, saying all of them would die. Passenger Fitzgerald Brown wounded at the back, then fired his licensed firearm twice at Taylor, fatally injuring him. Once they landed, Grange immediately killed the engine to prevent Taylor from commandeering the craft and causing further harm on the runway. He also noted that Taylor was sweating profusely throughout and also threw up several times. Notably, Grange said if they had gone around one more time, they would have crashed as they had run out of fuel. He also shared that the entire time he was conscious of staying close to the coast. In the event they crash landed, the rescue effort would have been made easier. After the break, Shine Barrow says he is still leader of the UDP. Stay with us.
Hi there. Are you on your phone?
dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Things in the United Democratic Party have taken another turn as Moses Shine Barrow, who resigned as UDP leader on March 18, issued a statement on Wednesday night saying he continues as the party leader until the next national convention is held. According to Barrow, he is reverting to his original position after speaking to party supporters and being compelled to do so after, quote, seeing how our beloved UDP has gone dormant with no attempt at unity, no compliance with the party constitution, no adherence to procedures and structures of the party, no vision or resources to take the party forward, end quote. Barrow added that his term does not expire until the national convention that is scheduled for this year, and therefore, at the request of UDP supporters, he will continue as party leader, quote, to ensure the continuity and strengthening of our great UDP. End quote, he added. We will continue with the reform agenda, including the necessary constitutional amendments to rebuild the UDP better than ever, end quote. After the statement was published, Mesopotamia area Representative Lee Mark Chang questioned how one can resign and then unresign themselves. For her part, Tracy Panton, who describes herself as the interim leader until she is endorsed at a national convention, assured party supporters that rebuilding takes time, but it is in train. She also affirmed that they are holding the present administration to account and will hold their first press conference next Tuesday, April 29th. In a statement later in the afternoon, the Panton Secretariat advised that Barrow is not authorized to act, speak, or conduct any businesses on behalf of the UDP, including collect any donations in cash or kind on behalf of the party or as a representative of Mesopotamia. There is no word yet on when Justice Tawanda Hundra will issue his decision on the UDP case. The Ministry of Agriculture this week organized a training for livestock procedures in Yo Creek Orange Walk to better prepare them to deal with negative effects from climate change during dry seasons. In particular, Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai explained that the pastures have not recovered from the rain last year, and now we are facing an excessive dry season. He says this will lead to weight loss in the livestock and a reduction in production. They therefore brought in some experts to share their knowledge about silage, which is a method of preserving grass or other grains, in this case corn, through fermentation during planting season to prepare ahead.
It is clear that climate change is real and it is affecting the productive sector, in this case the livestock producers. So what we are doing is preparing the farmers, teaching them about silage, teaching them about alternative ways of feeding animals. We invited some experts from Campeche who have much experience and knowledge in alternative feeding systems, and so they are sharing today with producers what can be done. One of the alternatives is preparing silage for the animals. There's corn that is a special variety which is used to make silage. Silage is the corn is harvested, it's cut, it's milled, it's mixed with molasses, and it is subjected to anaerobic respiration, where you have the animals that they feed on, and that the animals gain weight very fast. So that's one way. The second way is to grow your grass like a crop. You know, in the Mombasa, grass is grown like corn. It's harvested, it's baled. You see the big bales, and that is mixed with silage, and so that the animals do not lose weight. One, to pass the most difficult time of the dry weather, and after that, then you can just feed them normal. So all this is being done, one, to prevent animals from losing weight. One, two, if the animals will gain weight, good. And three, it earns time so that the pasture could regrow, and that the animals will have for green pasture feeding. So it's a very good system. I think the farmers are liking it. Everybody's doing it now. We're looking at alternative ways to feed animals. So I think it's a good thing.
Mai said they are encouraging farmers to plant their own silage by district. The Mexican experts shared that silage as a new technology in the region has allowed them to put an end to losses during dry seasons, and added that it is also within the reach of small livestock producers. Ostrich farmer Nancy Marin is testing a new ostrich-based product that could provide relief to those who suffer from arthritis. Marin, who has arthritis herself, revealed she came up with a balm using ostrich oil and other natural ingredients to create what she hopes will be a successful product. According to Marin, the balm has been effective for her, and she's now seeking testers as she prepares to launch the product commercially.
The arthritis balm is something new that we tried. I actually was a selfish venture because I I have all injuries on my knee, and so nothing works for me. And I ventured into like testing on this because in history the ostrich oil was used for joint pain, for arthritis, and things of the bones. And so I reading up on and studying the history of ostrich oils, I said, well, let me try it. And we have the cannabis oils, hemp oils. We have other natural things here that can help. So I made a combination, and I tested on myself. It worked for me. And so now, as of yesterday, I had asked the public if anybody wants to test for free and then give us the feedback. And we have, I think I had only from yesterday to today, I have about 75 people that reached out and they want to test it. So it's very, very exciting. I mean, if it worked centuries ago, it has to work today. Human beings are the same, and the ostriches are the same. They produce the same quality of oil. The omegas is, I think, what they use to penetrate and everything. And we're using the eucalyptus as well to help the penetration into the bones. It worked for me basically overnight. The swelling in my knees and stuff went away overnight. It's like I told my workers, it's like magic.
But what is ostrich oil? Marin explained that the oil is obtained from a layer of fat just underneath the skin of the ostrich.
The ostrich is, I call it a very organized animal because you have the skin, so you can cut off the skin, and right beneath the skin you have a very thick layer. If you're lucky, if you're raising the animal for fattening, if you fatten the animal, you get about 3 inches of fat, and you can get less depending on the feed of the animal. But it's very neat because it comes the leather, the oil, and then the meat. And the fat doesn't seep into the meat. You get a really lean meat, very healthy meat. So we get the oil from the fat of the ostrich.
Chicken is probably the main source of protein for most Belizeans. It's one of the most popular and versatile choices of meat for most here. However, could the ostrich replace the chicken as Belize's top bird in the kitchen? Well, that is what ostrich farmer Nancy Marin is hoping can happen. Marin serves ostrich eggs, ostrich burgers, ostrich steaks, and other ostrich delicacies at her Volstrous restaurant in Georgeville, Cayo. She said that some dishes are pricey, but with her being granted permits to import the birds, the prices should fall very soon.
The eggs, we haven't sold a lot of breakfast eggs. We get mostly expats in Belize will venture into trying the eggs. I believe that it has something to do with the price of the meal. But Belizeans do buy the raw egg. They get excited about it. They also buy the shell of the egg. Because we sell the raw egg, and we also sell just the shell for arts. People paint on it and do all kinds of things. At the farm, we use it to make jewelry. from the shell. But the meat, we have, it's strange, and I could be wrong, but my observation is that it depends on the district. For example, we people from Cayo and from the north will order mostly the burgers for some reason. And then we get the people from like Placencia, San Pedro, Billy City that will come and order the steak. So it depends on where you come from. People from the Indian and the Asian communities, when they come, they like mostly the kaftas, like the ostrich bites. We do ostrich bites in yogurt. They like things like that. And with the advent of having more animals, we will see the prices drop. In fact, just getting the permits, our prices will drop for our meals at the restaurant. In like another couple of weeks, we can drop the prices because we know that we will make it up back with being able to butcher more animals.
Nancy Marin has also developed a cosmetic line based on ostrich oil. She mentioned that Beltrade is assisting with international promotion and revealed that a client is interested in being a distributor in Ireland. While ostrich oil is already known internationally, Marin has been pleasantly surprised that her products are also doing well locally.
The cosmetic line is doing great. Beltrade has helped us enormously. They're promoting in Taiwan, they're promoting in Japan. We were supposed to be in Venezuela promoting this week, and sadly that trip fell through because of airport problems and stuff. But we do have a person, a client in Ireland that is interested in being our distributor out there. So we just have to make sure that we're producing enough. And I think that the world is interested in the oil. We've been doing great locally as well. Obviously, improvement is always welcome. More sales is always welcome. But we've been doing good. My expectations was that people would fare to try it. But no, actually, we have an outlet in Belize City, and that outlet is doing even better than we are doing in Cayo.
Her ostrich cosmetic products are available in Belize City at Mel's Chiropractic Healing and Therapy, located on D Street in Kings Park, Belize City. This week, the Elections and Boundaries Department released the schedule for the nominations and elections for village councils across the country. Nominations are scheduled to take place 1 week before the election's date, and many villages will begin that process in May, while others will do so until June, with the latest schedule day for elections being June 29 for select villages. On nominations day, submissions will be accepted from 9 a.m. to midday, while on elections day, polls will be open from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. While elections day for Trial Farm Orange Walk is until June 1st, on Wednesday night, things got testy. Trial Farm Councillor Glenn Tillett Jr. was hoping to contest for the chairman position. However, Tillett claims that the Orange Walk North executive held a meeting on Wednesday night to choose their candidates for the upcoming village council elections without holding a convention. He said he wasn't initially invited and had little time to prepare, and claims he was disrespected when he chose to speak. Today, Orange Walk North Area Representative Honorable Ramon Munchi Cervantes issued a release disagreeing with Tillett's claims. Cervantes affirmed that Tillett was invited and that the meeting was centered on village infrastructure projects and not on the elections, but that it naturally came up in all the discussions. Cervantes also argued that Tillett arrived late with a crowd and became a distraction, and added that he used insulting and disrespectful language. He ended by asking residents to, quote, not be distracted by attempts to politicize or distort the facts, end quote. After the break, Belizean man goes missing in Quintana Roo. Stay tuned.
20 years ago, we built
receive real-time status updates.
A Belizean man identified as 29-year-old William Javier Cruz Milan from San Esteban village in the north has been reported missing in the Sabitos area of Chetumal, Quintana Roo. According to the missing persons report circulated by the relevant authority in Mexico, he has been missing since Holy Saturday, April 19. He has a tattoo of the Virgin Mary on his right shoulder, is of clear complexion, weighs 121 pounds, has black short hair, brown eyes, and stands 5 feet tall. In other news, this year's National Agriculture and Trade Show in Belmopan comes up on the weekend of May 30th. The late date is due to the March general elections that had many public officers busy. Agriculture CEO Servulo Baeza delved into some of the attractions and activities that can be expected for the 3-day event. He also spoke about preparations, including possibly selling tickets online.
I would say the usual activities, the big show is the rodeo. On Sunday, we're having a raffle again of the vehicle this year. I think we did some changes to that, so now you will be able to buy a ticket for $50. Last year it was for $100. Big things that we're working on is even access to the grounds. Working out right now, I believe, the sale of tickets online. Normally on Saturday and Sunday there's a huge line of people trying to get in, but we're trying to institute now the selling of tickets online. One of the new things that we will be doing in collaboration with the Belmopan City Council is the horse parade. In Spanish they call it cabalgata. Okay. So that is planned for Saturday morning to end like around midday, 1 o'clock. So I think the route is through the main streets in Belmopan around the ring road and so forth, ending up then here at the showgrounds on Saturday. I know that's one of the new things. I think there are other things that we're still working on. I'm sure that the guys who are doing the rounds on the medias will keep you guys updated.
Are you the type of person who likes to keep up with the latest fashion trends? Well, you heard it here first. The next trend might involve wearing ostrich, or rather, wearing shoes and accessories made out of ostrich leather. Ostrich farmer Nancy Marin has introduced a line of leather products made out of the versatile bird. She revealed to Creme News XTV that they are also exploring producing boots. She explained some of the setbacks thus far.
The leather products, we made bags like the travel bags. We made purses for women. We made some sandals, hats, and within the first 3 months, we sold everything that we made. It was crazy because like a handbag from the ostrich, one of the smaller bags, was like $400. And my husband said, that's too much, nobody's gonna buy it. And then we sold everything. So people, like I said, I think Belizeans really know good stuff. My husband, who is the one that deals with the leather, he's trying to get, I think he's working on getting a Cuban person coming in that knows how to do boots. So to do the cowgirl boots, stuff like that. But the issue with working with the leather is that we don't have people in Belize that have that expertise. And so we have to bring workers from abroad, which is something that we didn't want to do. But I believe that he told me the contract with the Cuban is that he's going to have to do some training. So we're going to train young people in Belize. And the Guatemalans that he employs as well is going to be doing the training. But we've been held back a lot in that department because we can't find workers in Belize that know how to work leather. That has been the problem.
This week from April 20 to 26 is being celebrated globally as a Medical Laboratory Professionals Week. The theme for this year is Mystery Machine of Diagnostics, another case solved by the lab. The theme is a play on the Scooby-Doo cartoon series and their constant solving of crime cases. Laboratory professionals, although usually working in the background, are vital in the diagnosis and treatment of patients. Across the country this week, laboratories have planned activities to highlight their professionals. We checked in with Fiona Nunes, a medical laboratory scientist with Precision Medical in Punta Gorda, who highlighted the important role the laboratory plays in patient care and how, unfortunately, they tend to be overlooked.
Yes, indeed, it is the medical laboratory profession week, which is celebrated worldwide. Within our profession, as professionals, we perform diagnostic testings on patient samples to help doctors diagnose and treat diseases. So we're like the backbone of doctors. Within this profession alone, within the years I have within the profession, it's been seen that how most scientists are not being recognized as they supposed to, given the fact that we work within hidden grounds, meaning that they don't get to see us a lot like doctors or nurses or pharmacists. However, we're the one performing, given a little to none to say recognition sometimes, but we tend to be overlooked a lot. So I work with Precision Medical. Precision Medical is a Belizean-owned private laboratory facility, the first of its kind in Fiji and the only private so far in Punta Gorda Camp. The services we give are basically everything that has to do with blood testings, urine sample testings. We have stool samples that are also being tested. However, we also transition into referring tests that we aren't able to perform here. That would be sent over to Central Medical Lab and also Police Medical Association. For the record, we are located in the heart of Punta Gorda, that is on 53 Judge Price Street. We also have embarked into NHI services, which are commencing the 1st of May.
We also heard from Arlo Heredia, the laboratory supervisor at the Corozal Community Hospital, who outlined what they have planned for their laboratory staff this week. Heredia also shared a special message to other laboratory professionals across the country.
We had for this week, the Tuesday, we had a prayer. We had a pastor came in and had a prayer for not only for the lab, for staff working in hospital, sick people. So yeah, we had a pastor did that, was just like an opening for us. Yeah, and then well, yesterday there was nothing much, but today we're gonna have a trivia, where we're going to ask some questions to the staff, and if they answer, they're gonna get a token. One of the tokens that we have, as you can see here, is a cup, with the theme for this here. The theme for this year is mystery machine of diagnosis. All right, so yeah, this is what they're gonna get once they answer the question. That's what they're getting, and this will be throughout the day. And then tomorrow is the real celebration that we're going to have. We're going to have a blood drive. Apart from the blood drive, we're gonna give token to all our patients in the morning. When they come in the morning, we're gonna give them a snack, and also to the donors. The donors gonna get the same token as the same cup like I showed before. We have different colors. So yeah, we're gonna give them that, and we also gonna have a small little booth in the front to show what all we do. Maybe what you see under a microscope, or what we do in a routine basis. Well, this week I gonna say, just celebrate your week. I mean, this week is for us. This week for us to celebrate. I mean, no other week, but this is our week. Have fun, try something fun, have fun with your staff. Have a outing. Outing don't do bad. So that's just my message to them.
On a point of interest, the Prime Minister has appointed Carolyn Trench Sandiford to the post of Senate President for a second term. In a brief notice today, the government press office indicated that the United Democratic Party was consulted and expressed support for the appointment. It adds that consolations with the social partner senators continue. And blaming the U.S. implementation of new customs requirements, DHL Express since Easter Monday temporarily suspended deliveries of packages worth more than $800 US. The company said the suspension will remain, quote, until further notice, but said business-to-business shipments will continue, quote, though they may also face delays, end quote. According to DHL, prior to Trump's new tariffs, packages worth up to $2,500 could enter the U.S. with minimal paperwork, but now there are tighter customs checks for packages that cost less. According to DHL, this has led to a surge in formal customs clearances, which they are now handling around the clock. The company says it is working to scale up to manage the increase, but it still plans to deliver packages worth less than $800. However, it has already been reported that the White House is set to clamp down on deliveries under $800 from China and Hong Kong on May 2nd. This will be due to the U.S. closing a loophole on a de minimis clause that allows low-value packages to enter the U.S. without incurring any duties. This is expected to impact fast fashion firms Shein and Temu, the low-cost retail giant. Both businesses have already informed they will increase prices. They blame changing trends in global trade rules and tariffs. Last week, Hong Kong Post announced it would suspend packages sent to the U.S. by sea, and from 27 April, it will stop accepting parcels destined for the U.S. And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.